Classic Peggy moments. Here we are outside of Beale's place, and I'm sure that Ian would agree with me when he says that, you know, Peggy, goodness me, she can't half be a feisty little character.
Hey! Oh, that looked painful, didn't it? Well, we've got lots of stars from EastEnders here tonight. See, we've got the laundrette over here. And look who it is.
Who could be in there?
It's June Brown.
Hiya, June.
A.K.A. Dot. Hello, Dot. Now, Dot and Peggy had a fair few fallings out too. Look at this.
Have you any idea what my Phil's been through these last few months? Not to mention poor Ronnie lying there practically at death's door. Oh, come on, Dot. What have you got to say for yourself?
Oh, June, we'll get a reaction about that a little bit later on if you don't mind. Don't worry, she couldn't see it. Don't worry. Anyway, look who's outside the Bridge Street Cafe as well. Perry Fennick. Perry. Good. And Perry will be giving us the scoop of what it's like to get all of the Mitchells back together again. Do you know, I have to say how bizarre it is to be here.
It's so weird.
Crazy.
Get the teas in, Perry. Get the teas in.
Go for it. Go for it.
We've got Lacey Turner, right? And she's outside the fruit and veg stall, which is now run by your fiancé.
Yes.
And this is what we can't believe. These are actually real.
They are.
You could actually...
you can actually eat it, and it's fresh.
Oh, well,
it's
well,
everyone's going to can't believe we've just done that.
See you, Lacey.
Also tonight, Kelly Bright is here. The current landlady. Sorry, I'm spitting because I'm just eating a real apple. I can't believe it's real. But you have this baseball bat because apparently every landlady of the Queen Vic needs one.
I can't take it.
Another very happy EastEnders Christmas. Are you all right? Have you eaten that pear? Is that a bad mistake? It's not as good as the apple. Don't worry about it.
It's just gone down the wrong way slightly, but never mind.
Just give you a
there you are, that's better. Now, everywhere on this square, something or somebody reminds you of Peggy Mitchell, doesn't it?
Of course. Do you remember that time when... Oh, all right. All right. Yeah, all right. Yep, thanks a lot. Right. OK, fair enough. Yep, the time when Peggy had a water pistol and she was squirting everybody in Albert Square.
Still really funny, though.
Yeah, it's hilarious when you're on the end of it.
Looking a bit sheepish at the end there. Now, when we were invited to the Mitchells' house for a cup of tea and to catch up with Dame Barbara, well, we wanted to know everything, didn't we? But we started right at the beginning. Well, Dame Barbara, thanks so much for agreeing to have a chat with us.
Well, let's take you back to 1994, to the very beginning of this, Dame Barbara.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you say that this was a role that changed your life.
It was difficult for me because I wanted to play my age, and every time I went up for a job, it was they all only wanted to talk about the carry-ons. Like, whenever there was a strike, they'd always stick a carry-on on. Somebody saw me singing in a club in the East End, and they went back and they said, "Why has nobody ever had Barbara Windsor?" He said, "She's so full East End," and that kind of, you know, she looks like a little matriarchal figure.
Yeah.
So how did you feel then with that in mind, going for the audition for Peggy?
All I could think of was, please don't let there be a carry-on the night before I go for the reading for it, you know, please don't. You know, I just went along and did my best. There was three ladies there, three top ladies, and one of them said, "I liked your vulnerability." So she said, "Very good." I said, "Oh yes, I'm very good at vulnerability." Such a silly thing. I didn't even know what the bloody word meant. Can't take my eyes off you, can I? Not for 2 minutes. Like a kid you are.
Yeah.
You telling me the truth, Phil?
What would I lie about a thing like that?
No. You weren't fighting or anything?
No.
All right. Well, I worry about you, that's all.
How much input did you have into how Peggy turned out and became loved by the audience?
Well, she was just right for me, just because I knew this woman. And she's the kind of woman that she can be very sweet and very nice, very tough and very tough. I based the really toughness on my mother, who she was quite tough, and everything had to be done her way and you had to look right. The softness with her sons I based on the great... Well, I call her Great Violet Grey on the Grey Boys. And my mother would have hated the character.
Really?
Well, my mother wanted.
Why do you say that?
She was
then?
a Cockney snob. She always wanted to better herself.
Right.
You see, she said, "I sent you to all those elocution lessons, and look at you."
Peggy's been involved in some, you know, really major storylines. Obviously, the breast cancer.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yes.
then dealing with Phil's alcoholism.
Yes.
There's been, you know, with her
HIV.
husband.
And
there's
HIV.
been, there's been
I
HIV.
tell you, that was all for me to do, because I got so many gay friends. You don't get AIDS from sitting at home with your family. You get it from being part of the filth we're trying to get rid of in this community. Syringes in the kids' playground, druggies in our pub. It's all part of the same thing. If you swim in the sewer, you catch something. And Mark has. You don't know what you're talking about.
How did you deal with that then with your friends?
That was not good. That was not good. In fact, someone gave me a bad time in Blackpool. I was at Blackpool doing a BA and he screamed at me and said, "Never thought you was like that, never thought you was like that." Yes, yeah, I went through a bad time with
but
that.
they can't differentiate between the character and the person.
No, I
can
know.
This is the
They gave
problem.
it to someone else and they refused to do it. They gave it to me and I was devastated. I thought, what am I going to do? So I did a lot of PAs in all the gay clubs. Many. Everyone I could go
you?
to.
That was
Get
the
them on
solution.
side.
Right.
Yeah.
And how did it feel on the first day you stepped behind the bar and it was yours, your
I loved
sort of
it.
domain?
I loved it. I've got him.
Looks like it. Nice one, Mum.
My name's going above that door in the biggest gold lettering I can find. I just thought, this is it, you know. This is my life. I wanted
Yeah.
to help Shirley Bassey almost. So, no, it was wonderful. I loved it, and I took it very seriously. Yeah, no, I felt proud. I felt really lovely. I felt, oh, I'm in charge.
And we will have more chat from Dame Barbara a little
We
bit
will,
later on. We had
indeed.
quite a few cups of tea there, didn't
Look
we?
at us outside
Yes.
Cindy's cafe. This
know.
is bizarre for us, June
Oh,
and
look,
Perry.
there's that
It's
sign.
really bizarre.
Here is the sign that that Barbara was talking about there, look, that went above the pub and
That
kept in
would
the
be
prop store.
worth a fortune, no?
Yeah, gosh, the prop store here.
That's brilliant.
It is just incredible.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But June, you've seen a lot of matriarchs on the square, you know, come and go. Pam, Pauline, now Peggy. How does that make you feel? You know, and how do you feel that Peggy decided to leave in the end?
And don't forget, Lou Beale was the first.
Oh, she was,
matriarch,
yes, there you are.
Well, you see, I knew that she wanted to leave because she told me when we were having one of our chats, which we often do because we were very good friends, and she said she was tired of coming into the square and not having a base, nowhere to go really. She didn't belong anywhere anymore because Peggy was the pub. And if she wasn't in the pub with a get out of my pub, you know, where was she going to be? And
Yeah.
I thought it was a very good idea that she could have a very good storyline to go out on, a finale, you know.
Yeah.
Grand finale.
And Perry, were you expecting it, or did it come as a shock to you when you heard
That
it?
was a total shock to
Did
me
it? Did it?
because sometimes I think I was on a break at the time. When you're not here, you don't hear it firsthand. So I think I was driving along or something, you know, and it said on the radio.
Oh, you heard it, right?
I think so, yeah. It was something like that, or something. Someone texted me maybe, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, well that's probably press or some sort of, you know.
Yeah.
And then it sort of panned out that it was true, you know. So it was. So I didn't see it coming at all. Didn't see it coming because she's come back a couple of times.
That's right,
Didn't see it, you know. So, yeah.
So when you have the scripts then, and there's a big episode like this tonight coming up, do you have the entire script or only the scenes that you're in, you know, so that they can keep secret really what happens right at the end?
Not in this case.
Not in this one. Sometimes
No,
they
but
do. If there's a
sometimes.
big reveal, sometimes scenes are censored. Like when we've done the live one.
Yeah.
You don't know
Nobody
the
knew
end
the
of them,
ending,
you know.
yeah.
So that's a bit unnerving, especially if you're a suspect for something.
yeah,
You
I'm
think you're
sure.
going on the next
I'm
morning.
sure, yeah. But you were involved in kind of Peggy's trip around London, weren't you? And
Oh,
these kind of, you know, we've seen it. So what was the kind of feeling like during those scenes? Was it celebratory? Did Barbara turn up with cakes, or what was it?
No, well, it was kind of it was terrifying for me, to be honest with you. But, well, no, because they gave me this. I don't know if you saw it. It's like 170 gram roller to drive around this little square. I was like Parker, and I've got Dame Barbara, Lady Penelope in the back, and I've got to drive it around the square. And I'm thinking, no pressure here, then, is it? What about praying the motor with a dame in the back? And they was going, was it really good to drive? I was like, I couldn't wait to get out of it.
Really? Oh dear.
And of course you're part of the Mitchell clan, and we saw Grant come back at the
Yeah.
end of last night's episode, which will be a big shock to most people. And it's been reported in the paper.
Didn't he look like Phil?
He did.
Didn't
They really did look like brothers.
grown in Phil, I thought.
But it was great to see him back. It was lovely.
But Barbara has been so good in this. She's
Yeah.
superb in what she's doing. That's what I'm impressed with. It's her frailty almost translucent quality in her face.
Absolutely.
You can read everything in her face. And her exhaustion, the way she has to gather herself up to be
been
social
outstanding,
with
isn't it?
you and Honey
Yeah.
and the children, and her relief when they've gone. And you know that she is tired. And I understand the storyline completely, that she doesn't want to go into this old, sad woman. What's going to happen to her head? She has cancer in her head. It might affect her personality and how she behaves. And it's terminal. So I know it's against my religion to say that, but I think I quite understand why she would want to do what she does.
She played it so well.
She has played well. Even in the promos.
It's not your
she
normal
really
Peggy,
looks
it's not all the
like an
on the
ill
attack
version
or,
of Peggy.
it's much more
Completely.
inward.
Well, as June touched on there, Peggy's death tonight is because she's losing her battle with breast cancer.
Yes, but away from soaps, many people can and do win the fight against their diagnosis, and many actually find a new lease of life.
When life throws you a curveball, you just have to make the best of it.
This is the last thing I thought I'd be doing, feeding a pineapple to a pig before my diagnosis of cancer.
Breast cancer has showed me that there's a big wide world out there, and I want to see every bit of it.
With programmes like EastEnders, it's portrayed as normal life, so people are going to get ill. But the end result is quite often negative rather than a positive result, like myself. We'd always talked about making a life-changing move to the Highlands of Scotland, but you go on holiday and you enjoy it and you come back and it never happens. Once I'd had the treatment, that was a bit of a wake-up call really. We've had this dream and we need to do it now. Leaving Lancashire to come and live in Scotland was a huge decision. Having cancer made us do that. It made us act quickly and make the most of the time we've got.
We're almost 42 years married.
There can't be that many couples who have both had breast cancer. It just kind of gradually dawned on us, I think, this is pretty unusual. We got a phone call from Breast Cancer Care. They held this annual fashion show and asked if we would take part.
Ian Glenn and his wife, May Glenn.
Well, not something I would ever have thought of doing. On the day of the show, the atmosphere built up, and by the time we got to the evening, the adrenaline was just pumping so high.
Seeing myself striding down a catwalk wasn't something I would have normally done at all. But no offers of modelling contracts came flooding in, I'm afraid.
Our little granddaughter, she's helped us through it as well. She kept us going, kept us busy, and helped us to pick up the threads of our life and get on with it.
I wanted to go and travel. I've always loved travelling, but I always wanted to go more exotic and further afield. But I'd never thought about jumping out a plane or diving with great white sharks. But they seemed like a really good idea after cancer treatment. When I told people that I was going to jump out a plane, they just thought I was mad. And I'm like, well, why am I mad? I'm living my dreams instead of just talking about them. When I went to book my skydive, she was like, there's two options. There's 12,000 feet or 15,000 feet. And I was like, okay. Because I'm not that great with heights.
Feeling good? Are you confident anyway?
Aye.
Yeah.
It's all good. I requested an instructor that could deal with really nervous people. I told him, I've got through cancer, so I can get through anything. I've learned not to be scared. I'm probably more confident than I thought I was.
Going on the catwalk helped me tremendously.
Cancer gave us all the shove. It made us sit up and think, we don't know what time we've got, let's just do it.
And a very big thank you to Jane, to Ian, May and Claire Ann for sharing those stories with us.
Fantastic attitude, isn't
Yeah,
it?
of course. And talking of sharing stories with us, we're now with Sarah Phelps, who is the writer of tonight's episode. Now, Sarah, there's less than 10 minutes to go before your story starts. I mean, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling quite emotional, actually.
Yes.
Quite emotional and hoping that everybody enjoys it
I'm
and
sure,
it
yeah.
goes really well and people don't hate it and hate what I've done. Yeah, emotional, I think, is the best way to say it.
So give us the lowdown then, because when Dame Barbara said, right, I've got an idea about how I'd like to leave, what happened from there on in? How did the process bring you into it, and how much input did she have in the final sort of script for tonight?
Well, the process of bringing me into it was Dominic Treble-Collins, the executive producer, rang up and said, "You're coming to write an episode." And I went, "I'm a bit busy, Dominic." He said, "You don't know what busy is. I'm busy. You're just sitting there. Anyway, you're doing it." And he sent me the storyline. And when I saw what it was, obviously I had to do it. Obviously, there was just no question. And I looked at it and I thought, I'd like to do it like this. I know where we've got to get to, but I want to get to it like this. And Dominic and I went round to see Barbara and Scott, and I sort of said, well, this is how I'd like to do it, and waved my arms around a lot and pitched to her what I'd like to happen. And when I'd sort of finished talking, which took quite a long time, when I looked up, she had tears in her eyes, and I thought, yes, that's great, that's kind of work. And because I had such a clear idea of what I wanted to be in it and what I wanted to see and what I wanted for the character of Peggy Mitchell, but also what I wanted for Barbara. And I was just overjoyed that she really liked it and wanted to go with it.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you're writing her final words
Yes,
as
I
well.
am.
So did they come to you quickly? Did you know what they were? How many drafts of that did you do? Were you ripping it up, throwing it away? Or?
No. I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to be. Almost immediately, I knew what I wanted. So it was almost working backwards from that moment. Because I was, as soon as I read the story document, I thought, oh no, I know what it's got to be. I know what I want. I'm going to do that.
And everybody out there now is trying to guess the final words we'll hear from Peggy. But you were just saying a little clue earlier on, something quite significant happens just by this tree here.
Well, there's a key moment that happens kind of in this area, because not only you're thinking about the character of Peggy Mitchell, you're thinking about all the other characters around her, and you want to honour them as well. And I just wanted to bring in sort of other characters that she's interacted with and had very, very long, tangled and sometimes quite difficult histories with, and just bringing them into that moment as well. I'm not saying any more.
I've got some ideas.
But yeah, it's quite momentous that we're kind of standing here in the shadow of the Mitchell residence as well.
Shadow of the Mitchell residence, but everywhere you stand on this lot, something has happened. There's always something that's happened. You always think, God, there was that moment that happened over there. Yeah, quite excited.
Exactly. Every door, every window, there's a story everywhere.
Every
house. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
You're very
We look
welcome.
forward to seeing the episode.
Enjoy. I'm sure you will enjoy it.
I'm going to have some Prosecco.
Yes, good for you.
Have some fizz. Well, in about 8 minutes, Peggy Mitchell will be saying her final goodbye.
Yes, well, it's now time for the second part of our exclusive interview, and here she reveals what it was like during her emotional exit. All thanks to
So
you.
here we are now. It's been 22 years with you on the square. And it's the end.
When they burnt me at the stake, I thought it was. You know, when they burnt up the Vic, you know.
Nah, you haven't got the nerve! No, you haven't!
I was going to go, my Vic, but no, they decided to save me,
Right.
you know, and I thought, well, that was the end, you know, but it wasn't, and then I started to come back and do the odd ones, you know. I've got to say goodbye to her.
It's no secret that tonight is the last time we'll see Peggy
Yes.
in the square, which will be really sad for yourself and all the viewers who will be watching. But how did the conversation come about then with Dominic, who's the boss of EastEnders?
Oh, I heard along the grapevine that he might be leaving, the governor, and I thought, well, we all want a good storyline, and you know, what about it? And if I go, and I said, no, I can get your grant back. I said, if you kill me off, I said, you've got a good going away storyline.
Had you spoken to Grant before, or did you just say that?
No, but I'm very friendly with Ross, and I knew we bumped into each other in Mallorca, funny enough, and we were talking about it, and he said, well, I suppose I'd give it a go.
Phil? Mum? Guess my invite got lost in the post.
And he loved it.
Did he?
We had a wonderful time. Yeah.
And a treat for the audience.
Yeah.
And he was nervous. And what was great, I'm nervous. He was nervous. The only one who's not nervous is Steve, staunch old Steve. You know? I got this funny feeling when I suddenly did a scene where they either side of me. Yeah. Oh, I'm getting a bit tearful. I must, you know. But there you go. It's lovely.
What was that moment like when they said cut?
You have to hold everything in. Your stomach. your bottom, everything. So you just don't go
Yeah.
like that. It's a bit like that.
I bet.
It's not a nice picture, I know, but you just think, oh God, please, your stomach turning over and churning. It's churning now. While talking about it, you know.
Well, people are going to be absolutely heartbroken tonight watching your final.
Because the show's good and it still goes on.
Yeah.
And Phil's still there. And
but for how long do you think?
Well,
I mean, the way he's carrying on and drinking.
It's awful, isn't it?
It is.
What a wonderful performance he gives. And Ross, I think they could tempt Ross back again. So it'd be just those two. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. So go and get yourself back there. Because I think he enjoyed it. It was great fun. We had such a laugh. We really did together.
Would you ever come back? Because
as a ghost?
Yeah.
You see? Already.
Well,
you see?
I've
not
started
gone.
already.
I've not gone. I'll let you know.
Well.
I shall come flush.
If you could write Peggy's epitaph,
oh gosh,
what would you put on there?
I'll just say she's a good bird. Good bird. Good, kind, strong bird.
Will you do that line for us one more time?
Oh yeah, of course. No, I don't. Get out of my pub! My mother would rather it's been. My mother would have rather it been. Get out of my pub. Yes. No, it was get out of my pub.
Brilliant.
What a note to finish on.
Yeah, that laugh is tremendous, isn't it?
That was hilarious. Perry turned round because he actually thought Barbara was stood behind him. Get out of my pub! But yeah, we have set up our one-show stuff in front of the spiritual home that is the Queen Vic. Peggy?
Yeah, everybody else has got a drink apart from us, which is nice, isn't it? They're waiting for us to come over, I think. But we've been joined by Lacey and by Kelly here. Nice to have you both with us. Now, Lacey, you had a huge storyline with Dame Barbara because in the end, you killed Archie.
Yeah.
Now, how was it then to act those scenes with her? Because they were really intense and you must have been on set quite a lot together around that time.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite a surprise really because it was during the first live episode, so I sort of had no idea that it was happening until half an hour before, and I don't think anyone else did. But it was really sort of, it was quite a shock at the time, and then sort of it came so quickly after that we filmed all that stuff, so it was great, and I love working with Barbara. She's such a legend on and off screen. And it's just, you know, she's just fantastic. She gives so much and it's so easy to sort of give back.
And we've seen you kind of quietly burying the hatchet with her recently, but do you kind of prefer those quiet scenes or the more kind of shouty, screamy ones with her?
Well, it's always nice for, you know, to have a row.
There's history there, isn't there? There's history there. Go on, sorry.
She does have a good row, so it's always good to have a row. But it was lovely. I had one scene with Barbara before she left, and it was just lovely. It was a sort of really heartfelt scene, so I really enjoyed it, and I was just really happy that I got to, you know, say a final goodbye to Peggy.
And Kelly, only recently did you do your first scenes with Peggy.
In her final episode, the one that goes out tonight.
Oh God, no spoilers, no.
No, I won't say a word.
But how was that then? Because obviously it's your name above the door suddenly, and things have switched over. So was it intimidating or was it lovely?
She's been so supportive actually, what I will say, of me and Danny, right from the beginning, right from joining the show. And particularly to me, she's always been really warm. And what struck me working with her was, I mean, she's professional to her core, but she is the ultimate kind of leading lady. And it's something you don't get much anymore. And it makes everybody on that set feel as important as each other. You know, she has time for everybody. I just, honestly, I loved my scene with her. Only one, but I loved it, and I felt very lucky to have it. And as soon as I read the script, I texted Dom and said, "I'm so excited to have this scene. Thank you so much." So,
and Perry, as a Mitchell, I mean, this place just isn't going to be the same, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, we're family, aren't we? It'll be very strange.
Shall we have a drink?
Well,
Shall we have a drink?
Shall we have a drink? Yeah. She's done 1,662 episodes and 22 years. So we're going to raise a glass.
We are.
Here's Tracy the bar.
To the Queen of the Vic, to the best mum in Walford, and probably the greatest soap landlady of all time.
Yes.
There we are.
Oh, there you are.
To Peggy.
Cheers to Peggy.
And we will leave you with Dame Barbara Windsor.
Good Barbara.
Dear viewers, thank you so much for having Peggy Mitchell in your living rooms for the last 22 years. And now, for the very last time, I'd like to welcome you to Albert Square. Just in time for dinner, darling. Phil, get another plate, will you, love? Oh.
How long you staying? That's nice. I just walked through the door and you want to know when I'm leaving?
He doesn't mean it like that. It's just, well, it's so lovely to see you, isn't it, Phil? But